I was a passenger in a car and I was in an accident. What do I do? Hey there, I'm Chris Klotz. I'm one of the attorneys with the Stevenson Klotz injury law firm here in Pensacola. And this is a question that I get a lot. Believe it or not, we have a lot of clients who have been passengers in a car. They're not the driver, but they're a passenger in a car, and they've been injured because of an accident, and you might have a claim. So what do you do? Well, I'm going to give you a lot of the same advice that I would give if you were the driver. Obviously, if you're at an accident scene, make sure that you and everybody else at the scene is safe. Make sure that there's no other injuries by cars coming by. Make sure you get yourself somewhere safe where there's not going to be any other follow-up accident after the accident. If you are injured or somebody else is injured, get medical help on the way. After that, you want to get the police on the way to document the accident. You don't want to be in a position of having a significant car accident and then there's no police report. Sometimes people don't want to make a police report. You need to ask the police come make a report about what happened so there can be documentation and so you can get the information from all the people that are involved so you have names and numbers. The other thing is if there are witnesses at the scene of the accident, you need to get the names and the numbers of the witnesses at the accident yourself. Don't rely on the police to do it because sometimes the police get too busy or forget to write down the names of the witnesses and write down the numbers of the witnesses. And then once the accident scene is dispersed, you can never find the witnesses again. So take it upon yourself or maybe a friend that's there to ask for the names and the contact information for the people who were witnesses. That's really important. The next thing to do is once the accident scene is wrapped and everybody leaves, you need to make sure that if an ambulance hasn't taken you somewhere, that if you're injured, that you need to seek some medical help if you need to. If you are in an accident, it is not uncommon at all for signs and symptoms of an injury not to really show up for 28 to 48, sometimes to 72 hours. You know, you get home from an accident, you're not feeling that great, but you go to bed and you wake up the next morning and your back's locked up or your neck's locked up and you feel like you're really hurt. That is not an uncommon event at all for people that have been involved in an automobile or even a motorcycle accident, not to have symptoms of an injury until sometime after the accident. So don't be surprised by that. But if it happens, don't be shy about getting medical help, because most importantly about anything having to do with an accident is you want to get back on your feet. You want to get back to your life, you want to get back to work, and you want to be 100%. You can't do that if you need medical care and you don't seek it. And I know sometimes people are stubborn and they're like, oh, I'm just going to work through it and not worry about it. And then they get on weeks on down the road and they're still hurting, and then they go seek medical treatment after a couple of weeks. And what happens in those instances is, number one, you haven't put yourself on a path with a doctor or medical professional to start getting healthy again. And then the at-fault party insurance company is going to come and say that you didn't get medical help right away, so you really must not have been hurt, when in fact you were just trying to be tough or trying to be strong and work through it. That can actually work against you if you end up having to make a claim. So those are some of the, and then obviously you need to reach out and talk to an injury lawyer, which we would be happy to talk to you about your case. We don't charge for initial consultations. We would be happy to talk to you about your case and see what your options are and walk you through it and tell you what you need to do. So I'm Chris Klotz. I'm one of the attorneys here at the Stevenson Klotz injury firm. We'd be happy to talk to you about your case. Give us a call, and thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you next time. Be careful out there.